The presentation of the Union budget is always a momentous occasion in India. It is a time of great anticipation as the nation awaits the finance minister's pronouncements on the economic policies that will shape the year ahead. This year, Budget 2025, presented against a backdrop of global uncertainty and domestic challenges, carried even greater weight. The Indian economy stood at a crossroads, grappling with slowing growth, rising inflation, and a widening trade deficit. The middle class, in particular, had been feeling the pinch of rising costs and stagnant incomes. Would Budget 2025 offer them some respite, or would it be a case of aspirations deferred? The budget session commenced on the 1st of February with the customary address by the President. The stage was set for the Finance Minister to unveil the government's economic roadmap for the coming fiscal year. As the nation held its breath, the question on everyone's mind was clear. Would Budget 2025 deliver on its promise of inclusive growth? One of the most eagerly awaited aspects of any budget is the announcement of income tax changes. For the salaried class in particular, these changes can have a significant impact on their disposable incomes. This year, the government sought to provide some relief to this crucial segment of the population. The income tax slab for those earning up to 12 lakhs per annum was revised, offering a welcome reduction in tax liability. Under the new regime, individuals earning up to 12 lakhs would effectively pay no income tax considering the standard deduction. This move was widely seen as an attempt to boost consumer spending by leaving more money in the hands of the middle class. The increase in the standard deduction limit to 75,000 further added to the cheer. This measure would provide relief to a wider section of taxpayers, reducing their taxable income and leaving them with more disposable income. While the income tax relief for the salaried class was welcomed, the government also sought to nudge taxpayers towards the new tax regime. This regime, introduced a few years ago, offers lower tax rates but with fewer exemptions and deductions. To make it more attractive, Budget 2025 included several incentives for those opting for the new regime. The government's push for the new tax regime is understandable. A simplified tax structure with fewer exemptions can lead to greater transparency and easier compliance. However, the success of this transition hinges on making the new regime genuinely beneficial for taxpayers. The government will need to address concerns about the removal of popular deductions and exemptions, which many taxpayers rely on to reduce their tax burden. While the income tax changes offered some relief, the overall economic outlook remained a cause for concern. The budget acknowledged the challenges of slow growth, rising inflation, and a widening current account deficit. The GDP growth forecast for the fiscal year was pegged at a modest 6.4%, reflecting the sluggishness in the economy. The budget also highlighted the problem of stagnant wages, particularly in the formal sector. Despite a surge in corporate profits, real wages for salaried employees had barely kept pace with inflation. This disparity in income growth between capital and labor is a worrying trend, contributing to rising inequality and social unrest. The budget, unfortunately, offered no concrete solutions to address this pressing issue. Section 5. Seeds of Growth Budgetary Measures for Key Sectors. Recognizing the need to stimulate growth, the budget outlined several sector-specific measures. Infrastructure development continued to be a key priority, with significant allocations for roads, railways, and airports. The agricultural sector, the backbone of the Indian economy, received a boost through increased credit flow and initiatives to promote agricultural exports. The budget also emphasized the importance of technology and innovation as drivers of growth. Startups, in particular, were beneficiaries of several incentives, including tax breaks, easier access to funding, and measures to promote ease of doing business. The government recognized the potential of startups to create jobs, drive innovation, and contribute to economic growth. Section 6. The Bihar Bonanza. Decoding the political subtext. No analysis of the Indian budget would be complete without considering its political context. With crucial state elections in Delhi and Bihar just months away, Budget 2025 was inevitably viewed through an electoral lens. The timing of the budget, just weeks before the announcement of election dates, fueled speculation that it was designed to appease voters. The budget's focus on Bihar in particular raised eyebrows. The state was allocated a lion's share of infrastructure projects, including the development of a new airport and the expansion of an irrigation canal. While these projects are undoubtedly crucial for Bihar's development, their timing was seen by many as a blatant attempt to woo voters ahead of the elections. Section 7. Short-term relief versus long-term vision. A delicate balancing act. Budget 2025 faced the unenviable task of balancing the need for short-term relief with the imperative of long-term economic stability. The income tax changes, while welcome, did little to address the structural issues plaguing the Indian economy. The focus on sector-specific measures, while important, lacked a cohesive long-term vision. The budget's emphasis on boosting consumption through tax cuts, while understandable in the short term, could exacerbate inflationary pressures. The lack of concrete measures to address structural bottlenecks, such as land and labor reforms, could hamper long-term growth prospects. The government will need to articulate a clear long-term economic vision outlining its plans to address these deep-rooted challenges. Section 8. Global headwinds, domestic challenges, navigating uncertain terrain. Budget 2025 was presented against a backdrop of heightened global uncertainty. The ongoing conflict in Europe, rising geopolitical tensions, and the spectre of a global recession cast a long shadow on the Indian economy. The budget acknowledged these challenges, but its ability to shield India from external shocks remained to be seen. Domestically, the government faced the daunting task of reviving a slowing economy, controlling inflation, and creating jobs for a burgeoning young population. The budget outlined several measures aimed at achieving these objectives, but their effectiveness would depend on factors beyond the government's control. The success of Budget 2025 will hinge on its ability to navigate these turbulent waters and steer the Indian economy towards a path of sustainable and inclusive growth. Version 9. Conclusion. A budget of promises, but will it deliver? Budget 2025 was a mixed bag, offering something for everyone but failing to fully satisfy anyone. It provided some relief to the middle class through income tax changes, outlined measures to boost growth in key sectors, and sought to address concerns about the agricultural sector. However, it fell short of addressing the structural issues plaguing the Indian economy and lacked a cohesive long-term vision. The budget's political subtext was also hard to ignore, with several measures seemingly aimed at influencing the upcoming state elections. Only time will tell whether Budget 2025 will succeed in its objectives. Its ultimate success will depend not just on the government's ability to implement its pronouncements effectively, but also on factors beyond its control, both domestic and global. The Indian economy stands at a critical juncture, and Budget 2025 was a crucial step in determining its future trajectory.